We are interviewing Roger Walden, former planning director for Chapel Hill and now working with Clarion Associates. We're here to talk about Orange County's rural buffer. Hello, Roger.
Well, hello.
I understand that you were Chapel Hill's planning director during the 1980s when the rural buffer was established. Can you tell us about what was going on locally at that time?
There was so much going on in the 1980s. There was so much going on. We'd just come out of the recession from the late 70s, and suddenly everything was booming. There was a lot of interest in building new developments, new subdivisions, and it was not only in southern Orange County, but really around the country. Communities were experiencing a lot of development based on the pent-up growth pressures, and a lot of sprawling development was occurring everywhere. People had some concerns about that. There was worry about what this might mean for the character of southern Orange County.
And what were some of those concerns?
Well, up until that point, the growth had been fairly well contained geographically here, and there was a Chapel Hill community, Carrboro community, surrounded by rural areas and agricultural areas. Just really minutes drive outside of Carrboro, and you'd be in the country at a farm, and we had a watershed there that was providing the water supply for Chapel Hill and Carrboro. And people were concerned that, number one, that this sprawling growth pattern, if it occurred here, the way it was occurring in some other places, might be really damaging to the character of these communities. And also we were facing the prospect of losing these rural and agricultural areas that were surrounding us.
Now,
So it was a community concern. It was not just Chapel Hill, Carrboro, Orange County, but one of the things that was compelling at that point was a feeling that these three governments needed to get together and try to agree on how to approach the management of this growth.
Intergovernmental agreements are hard to achieve. How did this one happen?
They are really hard to achieve because different communities, different elected boards have different objectives or different interests often. But here, in this case, this is a great example of three different governing boards: Carrboro, Chapel Hill, Orange County, and their communities, all with the same objective of wanting to preserve character and try and prevent sprawl and have a development pattern that aligns with the values of this area. So those three local governments came together and found very easily some common ground to be able to negotiate an agreement among the three of them about how development should occur.
That's a great story.
Well, it is a great story, and I think the benefits are really, really enormous. As you walk around, bike around, drive around Chapel and Carrboro, these communities still have that character that they had 20, 30 years ago, and you go outside the boundaries, and you're in the rural area. You're on a farm where there are dairy cows, and there's agriculture going on, and we've also protected our watershed and our water supply, which helps to keep us independent in terms of water supply and resources. So it's been 30 years. That agreement was put in place 30 years ago, and all three governments have adhered to the terms of it since. And I think we really have, as a community, realized a tremendous benefit from what's happened. It feels really good to look back on the history of this, and I really have to tip my hat to the elected officials, and they're the ones who provided the leadership and made this happen, and continue to adhere to the principles and the values. And so it's really a remarkable model for how communities can help maintain their character. So thanks for having me.